and we're going to talk about blood flow. And I'm going to start with blood flow is a circulation, y'all, right? We know that it's just a solid circulation. And so I am going to start with the superior and inferior vena cava. So I'm just arbitrarily picking somewhere to start. But blood flow is a circulation. There's no begin and no end, right? But I always like to start there. I like to start bringing blood back to the heart. So we are going to start with the superior and inferior. I don't know why I'm kind of doing cursive, kind of going fast. Vena cava. Okay? And now I'm going to talk about blood flow, so I'm going to draw my labels here. Okay? So I'm going to change this over to blue. And I'm going to make my key over here. So blue, just make a little key. That is deoxygenated blood. And then red is oxygenated. Okay? And so I'm going to go back and forth, toggle back and forth between my two arrows. So here, I've got blood. I'm going to do my arrows. So I'm talking about deoxygenated blood. This blood has already dropped off oxygen to all body cells, and it's coming back to FedEx to go and pick up more oxygen at the warehouse. All right? And so where this blood enters the heart is at the right atrium. The right atrium. And then that blood still has no oxygen, still is low in oxygen. So the atria are the receiving chambers, okay? From there, blood is going to go through the tricuspid valve. I hate to toggle back and forth, but I'm going to start doing regular writing. Tricuspid valve. So it's going to go through a set of French doors, and then it's still deoxygenated. We haven't picked up any new oxygen. Then it's going to travel into the right ventricle. Okay. The ventricle is where blood is going to leave the heart, but we're still deoxygenated. And how we leave the heart, we have to go through a door. The door that this blood is going to go through is called the pulmonary semilunar valve. Set of French doors to leave the heart. Okay. This blood is still deoxygenated. We have not been to the warehouse to pick up new oxygen. Okay. This blood is going to enter the pulmonary trunk, major artery leaving the right ventricle. And again, the blood is still deoxygenated. From there, that blood is going to then either go to the right, travel over to the right lung or the left lung. So it's going to enter either the right or left pulmonary artery. Okay, blood kind of splits. Still deoxygenated. Haven't been to the warehouse yet, but we're on our way. Right? We're on a series of highways. And this highway is taking blood to the warehouse to pick up oxygen. Okay? Oh, goodness. My foot just hit my heater. Burned my little ankle. Okay. And so now we're entering the lungs. We're entering either the right or left lung. And this, guys, is where purple occurs. Does that look purple? Hopefully that does. Okay? This is where diffusion of gases occurs. So I'm going to actually even put like a little thing up here. And then to tell you, this is diffusion. Because blue and red together make purple. Get it? Diffusion of gases. We're either picking up oxygen, dropping off carbon dioxide. Okay? Or dropping off, either way. I need to say it the right way. We are picking up oxygen, dropping off carbon dioxide. In the other location that we have diffusion, it's going to be the opposite. And that's going to be our body cells. So here, we're picking up oxygen. It's binding to hemoglobin on our red blood cells, on our erythrocytes. And so now I can go to a red arrow because now this blood is oxygenated. It has oxygen molecules on the red blood cells. So the highway that we travel to get back to FedEx, to get back to the heart, because this is the warehouse. This is not where we ship things out. This is just where we store oxygen. So we go back to the heart via the right or left pulmonary veins. Right or left pulmonary veins. Okay. And again, we're still oxygenated. To re-enter the heart, to re-enter at, my screen is freezing, to re-enter the heart so that it can be enter FedEx into the hub, to get signed in again, to get shipped out to its correct location, we are going to enter on the left side of the heart. So we're coming into the left atrium. Still oxygenated. We're going to go through the bicuspid valve, down to the left ventricle. Same theme as on the right side of the heart. It goes atrium, AV valve, ventricle. So same thing here on the left side. Right? And so now, ventricle is where blood is pumped out of the heart. So we're going to go through a door to leave the heart. That door that blood enters to leave the heart, that valve is the aortic semilunar valve. Because blood is about to enter the aorta. It's still oxygenated. So then blood enters the aorta, the largest artery in the body. Specifically, it enters the ascending aorta, part of the aortic arch. It goes up, but we'll get into that in our next little unit. All right, so from the aorta, there are many branches, off-ramps off of this major highway to go to everybody's house, to go to every single body cell. So here, that blood goes to body cells. And then I have to show purple again because we have diffusion going on, dropping off oxygen, picking up carbon dioxide. It's like if the Amazon delivery guy brought you your package and he took away your garbage. He was your delivery man and your garbage man. That is what a red blood cell does, okay? They have a very important job and they get worn out. They never get any breaks, okay? They work nonstop. That's why they only live for about 120 days before our body digests them and makes new ones via hematopoiesis in our red bone marrow. Okay, and so, but I don't want to end there because I want you to know that it is a circle, right? It is a cycle, continuous cycle. So now that blood is deoxygenated, we dropped off oxygen, and it's going to re-enter the heart, re-enter the FedEx hub at the superior and inferior vena cava. So if it's a continuous cycle, we need to begin and end at the same structure. Superior and inferior vena cava, okay? So if you go back, you've got a linear description. That looks kind of cool like that, doesn't it? Oh. That is a linear description of blood flow, okay? And so what we're going to look at next is we are going to do that in our drawing. Okay? And so let's do that over here. I'm going to start with, I'm going to enlarge so it doesn't make me crazy. We're not going to do it quite like we did the one above. We're going to abbreviate everything. So I'm going to draw my heart. Stay with me for just a little bit longer. And I'm going to just say RA, LA, RV, LV, because we've already labeled it twice already, okay? And so let us also do our valves. So this is my tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve, okay? And then let you catch up for just a second. I feel like I'm going a little fast. And then let's add on our vessels. So here we had a semilunar valve, and this is the pulmonary semilunar valve, PSV. I'm going to pull this up and over, and I'm going to branch it this way because I can already. This one, other side goes underneath. I'm going to do another little semilunar valve, and that's the aortic semilunar valve. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this up, and this comes over, and it goes behind right there. And it actually comes down, okay? And so that's our aorta. This is our pulmonary trunk. Okay, you don't really have to write everything out, but just maybe put some abbreviations so we know. And then we're going to pull over some, kind of go down a little bit, yeah. We're going to pull over along over here. And so this is the left lung. This is my left pulmonary artery. And I'm going to put a circle around that, okay? And then over here, I'm going to go behind the aorta. I'm going to come over here to the right lung. Okay. And over here is my right pulmonary artery. I have 2 pulmonary veins on either side. So these are my right pulmonary veins. Okay, and I'm going to take off just a little bit of this because you're a little bit in my way. Okay. And then we're going to pull back. That made a hole right there, which is absolutely perfect. That's where it goes in. So then these are my left pulmonary veins. Okay, we have everything listed except for my vena cava. So this is my SVC for superior vena cava. And then this is my IVC for inferior vena cava. So I'm going to keep my same key. You see my key over here, okay? I'm using my same key. That's muy importante, okay? Very important. So I'm going to start with, just like I did over here, with deoxygenated blood. Blood coming back to the heart from the body, from dropping off oxygen, picking up carbon dioxide. So I'm going to show this arrow coming into the superior vena cava, coming in. I'm going to show, if my screen will move, there we go. I'm going to show blood coming up through the inferior vena cava. But y'all, here is where we're drawing a 3-dimensional process on a 2-dimensional drawing. So both the inferior vena cava and the superior vena cava both drain into the right atrium. So you're going to have to think like behind, like both of these tubes go in and drain into the right atrium. And so that's why I do the linear one first, so that you can see the superior and inferior both go into the right atrium. Okay? So once into the right atrium, blood travels down. Blood always travels down in the chambers. So then it goes through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. But I want you to do it exactly like me. I want you to bring that blood all the way down. It comes all the way down. It fills up. It builds up a lot of pressure before it is expelled, forced out, through the pulmonary semilunar valve into the pulmonary trunk, and then it either goes to the left pulmonary artery or the right pulmonary artery. So then we're going to just keep going like this. We're going to enter the lungs. Okay, and in the lungs, so we got, let's pull it in just a little bit more. In the lungs, that's where diffusion of gases occurs. So draw a big piece of purple. I know this kind of looks hot pinky, but I made a key. Okay, this is diffusion of gases. We're picking up oxygen. This is the oxygen warehouse, and we're dropping off carbon dioxide or waste. Okay, So now I get my red arrows. So now that blood is oxygenated and it is going to leave the lungs and travel via the right and left pulmonary veins on its way back to the heart. So it is going to re-enter the heart at the left atrium. Okay, the right side is only deoxygenated blood. The left side is only oxygenated. There's 2 holes in each atria for the vessels to drain into. The left atrium has 4, 2 for the right and 2 for left. That blood is going to go through the bicuspid valve, and remember it's going to travel down. We're going to do the same thing as the right side of the heart. We're going to travel in, build up enough pressure so that that blood can be forced out through the aortic semilunar valve, entering into the aorta, go up. The aorta itself actually has 3 branches that go up to the arms and to the head. And so some of that blood is going to enter those little off-ramps, just like on the highway. These are just off-ramps. Some of that blood is going to travel down, and I'm going to bring that aorta down. Okay, so this is also the aorta. And so that blood is going to travel. There's lots of off-ramps. I'm not going to draw those because that would be so crazy. And then all of those off-ramps are going to take that blood to our body cells, to all of our body cells. Yay! And that is where diffusion of gases occurs again, dropping off oxygen and picking up carbon dioxide this time. But then that blood is now deoxygenated, and I want you to show it coming back into the inferior and superior vena cava to start again. So I know this kind of looks crazy, but having your colors, if you had everything the same color, this would be a hot mess. So make sure you have your colors. All right, so when you turn in your notes, I am not just looking for the stuff that we did on the first video. I am looking for this also. So here is the deal for next week's test. It is only going to be on this right here, okay, up through right here. Only heart structure. It's going to be a 50-point test, but it's only over this part right here. You will have a very large bonus question over this part right here. Can you draw that from scratch? Can you draw all of this from scratch? Will be a very large bonus question. Heavily, heavily weighted, okay? So the only thing you need to learn for next week's test on Tuesday and Wednesday is heart structure. We're going to play a Kahoot on Monday. We're going to talk about this heart structure. Again, this bottom part, circulation, both systemic and pulmonary, is just a bonus.